4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DiPrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Love you.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not too unsettled you. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tight Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in to First Things First with the Queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First, and my first thing is always God. Start the day giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's do this. What a privilege to do this every day on KBLA, and this is how we move on a Wednesday. Hour 1, we look local, what's going on the left coast. Hour 2, we go national, international, and beyond. In the third hour, we do a deep dive on a hot topic and a hot person. Today, we'll be speaking with Dr. Guthrie Ramsey, a ethnomusicologist, to dive into our Black Music Month vibrations. We start the second hour with Wealth Building Wednesday. Meet a local entrepreneur or resource for an entrepreneur to help us all build that wealth and generate more opportunity and get our, I's dotted, T's crossed. We'll be speaking with Mariah Monique today. And to start the day off, my partner in politics, seems like it's been way too long. He's a social activist. He's passionate about it, with a theology open and accessible to all, a third-generation pastor, and he is the senior pastor. I feel like I always have to say that because he looks so young, and he is so young, of McCarty Memorial Christian Church. Pastor Eddie Anderson, welcome back.
Good morning. It's been a long time.
It's been way too long. But you're a busy man, so, we have to lure you in here. What is new at McCarty Memorial?
What's new at McCarty is that we are in the process of getting ready to launch, as we do every summer, our literacy program called Freedom Schools. And so we're excited about that work and continue to do our Work for Development program and we're growing together, right? In this season of a lot of mass misinformation, a lot of spiritual wickedness in high places. We are really reminding ourselves that Scripture reminds us that we are not of those who shrink back, but that we move forward, knowing that God is on our side, and that in the power of each other and love of each other, in the memory of our ancestors, that we can make it through these moments.
Absolutely. So a lot packed into that statement that we can unpack into, to great advantage of our own mental health and also physical well-being. So Freedom Schools are, for folks who aren't familiar.
Oh, yeah. So Freedom Schools was started back in the 60s in Mississippi by none other than the great Mary Wright Edelman, who saw that we needed to create literacy programs. And so Freedom Schools, we do is culturally competent-based literacy programming, which means we start with Harambe, which is a lot of singing and chants, and then we read books. And all the books that we read, it is for kids K through 5, is mainly what we do, but it goes, sometimes in middle school. All the books that we read are about Black and brown folks, mainly Black folks, right? Children's books. And at the end of the program, they get books to take home with them. It starts in the middle of June, goes all the way to August. And I have to tell you that we did this in Inglewood throughout the year, and we saw reading levels increase by 3 to 4 reading levels. And over the summer, we see the same, sometimes 3 to 4 reading levels we see happening. And our young people. That's so important, because if they build prisons based upon your third grade reading level, if you are above average, you can go back to school with some confidence, know who you are, know you can make a difference in your community and in your world, but you're also set up for a wonderful future.
Yeah, that's so important. And I'm pretty sure it's probably packed already.
It's not. We have 2 sites, so okay. There's still some spots. Go to partnershipforgrowthla.org, and right there at the top there's a banner for Readly Freedom Schools. You can click there. All of our educators are Black educators. All of our books are there, and then it's free. And when people say, how are you doing a free program? Because your tuition is your parent engagement.
Your tuition is your parent engagement. What that actually means is that Pastor Edward Anderson raised the money.
Yes.
And so your tuition is probably some service in this world.
Yeah.
But that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I remember those days. My kid is now in college, but I remember those days of trying to figure out what to do for the summer and finding something wholesome, enriching, and not depressing that kids can do and still have some free time is super important.
Very empowering. I love to see the kids singing Harambe and doing their chants. I remember one story that I have, a member of my church, he went to Freedom School. He just turned 9, so I guess he was 7 or 8. And his mom came and told me he's now at his regular school and telling them they need to learn Black history. And I was like, Freedom School.
He's schooling the other kids. That's great. And then you said in these times of spiritual wickedness, what do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is that when you have the politics of plantation capitalism playing itself out on the largest of scales, when what we are in is all of the flooding of the zone that we see every day, it seems like another bad policy.
Yeah.
And what that does, I mean, you think about it, is yes, it is economically hurting us, and yes, it is moving us apart, but it's taking effect on your mental health. It is, in many ways, to me, a disease of evilness. Right? And that is meant to kill, steal, and destroy not just your joy, but your mental health, your stability, your perspective on who you are, the distorted reality of what is real, what matters in this moment, who God has called you to be. It is meant to dim your light. But I'm reminded in these moments that deep still calls out to deep. So I believe that the policies that are being written right now are meant to not only divide, but destroy, to kill, and to decimate your spiritual well-being. What the goal is soul murder. It's not just physical displacement.
Soul murder.
Yeah.
What is that?
If they can murder your soul, then they know that they can murder your hope. They can murder your self-identity. Your soul is the place where where you're most alive. It's the place where God dwells. Beginning in theology for me, I would say oneness with the universe, oneness with God, is when you are at your best. It is at your peace. It is the hum. It is the peace within that comes from within you. But if they can disturb that, then you are sent to live in hell on earth. You're sent to live in torment. You're sent to live in separation. You're meant to live in a world where you are not completely one with yourself, one with God, and that means you can't love yourself, you can't love others. And then if you do that, then you find yourself not only trying to survive in this life, but trying to figure out what is real.
Trying to figure out what is real. Is part of soul murder getting inundated with fear?
Absolutely. Fear and anxiety are the two greatest weapons that the enemy has, right? If you are fearful and have anxious, think about it in your everyday life. When you are fearful and anxious, a couple things happen just physically to your body, right? Think of your heartbeat probably increases. You find yourself having a nervous tick. You find yourself always fumbling. You may start having panic attacks. You may not be able to focus as much. You find yourself in this day and age doom scrolling constantly because you're trying to numb yourself from the reality that is around you. And so all of the attacks on every side really seeks to make you live in a perpetual state of fear. And if they can't get you fearful, to live in a perpetual state of panic or paranoia or high anxiety about that. But I just remind people that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of a sound mind.
I love that so much because one of the things, my challenges personally in doing my job during this season, I want to make sure we know the objective conditions, that we know what's going on the ground, what it is that we're aligning ourselves to deal with, to fight, to undo. But at the same time, I don't want to be doom and gloom all day long. And I feel like it is my job to help us to stay encouraged and stay engaged and not give up and not be scared. And there's so much, it feels like fear is as much of a problem as what's actually going on. So finding that balance is one of the things I challenge myself with.
Absolutely. I think there's so many rumors and rumors of rumors about what's about to happen. And it's by design. I'm a pastor, and so a church, though, legally is a nonprofit. And I run a nonprofit community development corporation. And I remember maybe less than a month ago, all the nonprofit executives were talking about with their lawyers about these executive orders that were supposed to come out. And the intention of these executive orders was going to give the president the power to try to snatch people's 501c3 status based upon the work that you did. And basically, if you did environmental work or work for black folks or brown folks or LGBTQIA, happy pride to those who are celebrating, if you were doing any of that kind of work, you was afraid that it was going to pull your thing. If you're doing anything that was going to go against the government. And so in that fear and anxious moment, I heard so many executives trying to figure out, are we going to stay open? Are we going to close? They were complying in advance.
Right.
And then the lawyers were like, well, that's not in the president's power to actually do that, but we should be conscious. So for 2 or 3 weeks, everyone was on pins and needles waiting for the other foot to drop, as they say. And it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But because we all a lot of people complied before they needed to, or shifted their language, or tried to figure out their programming differently, he didn't have to do an executive order.
Right. I call it preemptive surrender.
Absolutely.
Like, you're not even threatened yet, but you're going to surrender.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't believe in that at all.
No. So I think that's why it's good for you to continue to talk about where the pain is. Because if you don't know where the pain is, you can't write prescriptions.
If you don't know where the pain is, you can't write prescriptions. Pastor Rev.Anderson is here with me, and you're invited in all the time at 800-920-1580. Can't wait to go through some of these local happenings and some of the not so local ones with you when we come forward.
Awesome.
On KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with
Dominique DiPrima.
when we come forward.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Light a candle, pour some wine. Grab a roll, the soft kind for a little me time. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear. Wavy edges for my rear. So let the softness caress your soul. Just relax, you're on a roll. Let her rip. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear.
Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has the same softness you love, now with wavy edges that tear better than the leading one-ply brand. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station,
And your favorite morning show host.
Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now. Okay, so our KBLA 1580 4th anniversary events are almost here because Juneteenth will be the actual anniversary, Pastor Rev.Anderson.
Let's go.
And seating at all 4 of our events is getting tight. So if you want to come, you're invited. They are free. We want you there. I'd love to see you there, especially my event because I'm selfish, right? The State of Black Women in L.A. They're all free. We don't need your money. We just need your butt in the seat, basically, and your brain in the house. At my event, we're going to have lunch served. That's also free. And then afterwards, we're going to have 2 panel discussions with powerful women. And then afterwards, we're going to sit as women and unpack what we heard and do some, think tanking.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so that's going to be, and of course, not just women. Everyone's invited, but the speakers will all be women. We have our barbecue. That's free also. Although if you can bring a gift card, a restaurant card, or grocery store of any amount, we'll give those to families in Altadena that are still struggling.
Absolutely.
I know you're dealing with that.
Yeah, it's a long struggle. I went out to First AME Church and also Victory with the brother Pastor John, and then Brandon Lamar is a good friend of mine.
From the NAACP, Pasadena,
yeah. I remember when the fires happened, I hit Brandon up and I said, Brandon, what do you need, brother? Like, whatever. And he was like, I need LA to show up. And so we got information and we started shifting, and at the church we raised money. We said, because we understood that this is for the long haul, but also that people are still trying to figure out where to resettle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing reports of folks still being found living in cars.
Absolutely.
Because their house burned down, and maybe they're renters. So there is no insurance company or mortgage company to deal with.
Yeah, so we raising gift cards, and gift cards, I just want to double down on that. Gift cards are what people can use because it doesn't take up a lot of space, but it meets the need, right? One story is one of my church members told me a story of one of their family members who lost everything. They said, Pastor, if they can just get a gift card to get a change of clothes, they would be very grateful. And I said, we could do more than that. But that's where we're at. And so if we don't take care of ourselves, no one else will. And so continue showing up, continue going to the relief centers. I know there's relief centers in Pasadena and Altadena. I know there's relief centers at churches like First AME and at Victory. I know it's bigger than us. Right now here at the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall, it's taking stuff out constantly to Altadena. And so if you can donate your time or you have a little money, don't go to Starbucks for yourself. Go take that $5, $10, put on an Amex gift card, and give somebody who can use it in this time, because it's going to be a long haul. I imagine at least 3 to 5 years minimum before people can actually get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Right, and that's true. And while the news cycle for the mainstream moves on, we have the blessing of not having to move on and being able to stand with our brothers and sisters. So whatever you can bring to help the families that are still displaced, please do it. I want you to go to KBLA1580.com. That's our website. Might as well do it now and then sign up for the event you want to attend. Mine. And all of our anniversary events are free, but seating is limited. So please do register for mine. Okay. Am I being selfish? Yes. Okay. So you mentioned job development.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that your church takes on as what I would call a liberation theology type of church.
Absolutely.
And now, the feds are, the Trump administration, shutting down the Job Corps. There's a federal lawsuit that was filed challenging that decision by the Department of Labor. It was filed yesterday in the District Court for New York, requesting that the court block the Department of Labor from closing the Job Corps. But how do you see this? I mean, I know this is work that you do, and I know Job Corps is mostly young adults, right?
Yeah, Job Corps is mainly transitional age youth. So think of anyone from 15 to 24. And the program is, so the federal government has mainly 3 programs that help young people in the next generation. It's Job Corps, it's AmeriCorps, and Youth Build. AmeriCorps has already been cut. So a lot of nonprofits and a lot of young people in college looking for summer internships, all of those jobs have gone away, right? And so the services, everything from legal services to community organizing to showing up at your local nonprofit has been affected. Job Corps is not only is a work for development program, but it's a residential program. That means that parents who maybe want to get their son or daughter into a trade can send their son or daughter in LA, right downtown, to a residential program where they will learn life skills, but then they have somewhere to live, and then they get certified in a trade, where they want to be a mechanic, a nurse, whether they want to be a cook, whether they want to be a part of a union. It gives them a real career path.
And some of these are foster kids or unhoused kids.
A lot of these are foster and unhoused kids. And so when I want to say shout out to Janet Kelly, who runs Sanctuary of Hope, which does a lot of transitional age youth work in our city. When I went on, that was Monday, when I went to the Black People Experiencing Homelessness meeting for LA County, the first thing she said to me was, how are your kids? Because Job Corps then means all these foster youth who were in this residential program and getting their education have nowhere to go now. They're back on the streets, which means now leaves them open to be preyed upon, which now leaves them open to not actually having that hand up. Job Corps was a hand up, not a handout. And because people who have different experiences in life see any program that helps you get stable as a handout and not a hand up, they closed it. So across the country, mainly Black, brown, and rural white kids now have nowhere to go to school. Parents who were working multiple jobs and saw this as a pathway for their kid to maybe their kid wasn't going to go to college, but they can go through Job Corps and have a trade and actually have a career and a future. They don't have that anymore. So thousands of kids overnight lost their education. They lost their housing, and they lost their pathway to their future.
So counterintuitive at a time when we have this houseless crisis all over the country. Mm-hmm. If you live in LA, you know that young people get preyed upon by the porn industry.
Absolutely.
Big time. I mean, they find people at the Greyhound station and get them. And then on top of that, at a time when your priorities are so clear. I just don't. It's hard for me to understand how people are not getting this. They are throwing Black children, Latino children, and low-income white kids out on the street to pay for tax cuts for the rich. It just doesn't get any more draconian than that. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and more with Pastor Edward-Anderson and you on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The first Black mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma is proposing a reparations plan for descendants of the 1921 race massacre. Mayor Monroe Nichols wants a private trust to fund housing and scholarships, no direct cash.
The Greenwood Trust will raise and facilitate the investment of $105 million in private funds along our road to repair, restoration, and right.
The City Council must approve any asset transfers. Washington, D.C. has unveiled Mamie Peanut Johnson Plaza, honoring one of just 3 women to play in the Negro Leagues. The 5'3" pitcher had a 33-8 record in the 1950s. Johnson, who died in 2017, is now memorialized in the city she called home. And Wall Street opens higher today after a strong Monday start to June. Investors shrugged off trade tensions and steel stocks soared after President Trump announced 50% tariffs. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the title? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers and Angels pulled out close wins in the 10th inning last night. The Dodgers got a walk-off double from Freddie Freeman in the 10th to beat the New York Mets 6-5. The Angels held on for a 4-3 win at Boston. The Angels are a game above 500 on the road. Coco Gauff defeated Madison Keys in 3 sets to advance to the French Open semifinals for the 3rd time in her career. The 21-year-old African-American tennis star is aiming for her first French Open title. She finished second in 2022. The French Open semifinals are Thursday. Entertainment mogul Byron Allen is giving a boost to the HBCU Las Vegas Football Classic featuring Grambling and Jackson State. Allen has agreed to use one of his media properties, HBCU Go TV, to broadcast and stream the game live. Grambling and Jackson State play in Vegas on Saturday, October 25th at Allegiant Stadium, home of the NFL Las Vegas Raiders. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready to play? Then jump into the LA 84 Foundation's free Playdate Block Party, a community celebration for all ages, including live music, dancing, LA's pro sports teams, great local food trucks, plus special giveaways for you to take home. Enjoy an exciting, fun-filled day for the entire family. Join us Saturday, June 28th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 2141 West Adams Boulevard. To register, go to la84.org. We'll see you Saturday, June 28th at LA 84 Foundation's free Playdate Block Party.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to HIMS.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text EQUAL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text EQUAL to 321-321. That's EQUAL to 321-321.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, indeed. I thank you. You're not just waking up with me. You're waking up with the leader of the McCarty Memorial Church and Pastor Rev.Anderson. Let's remind folks, even me, when we can come to your services.
Every Sunday, 1045, 4101 West Adams Boulevard. If you live in LA, it's right next to the old Johnny's Pastrami's.
You know what people know. Look, they might not know the church, but they know where the pastrami is at. We're going to go to Vanessa calling us from the state of Kansas. Good morning, Queen. Vanessa, you with me? Hi, welcome.
Yes, thank you so very much for all that you do. And thank you for having the Freedom School. I was wondering, will it be possible to introduce a STEM or STEAM component to the Freedom School?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So what we do is they do enrichment activities. I didn't talk about that part. They do enrichment activities, and we try to contract with Black-led programs to do some STEM exercises, and then we also take people on field trips. So not only do we teach them about science and math, but then we would take them to the aquarium or the science center and let them put that into practice and see how it works out.
Does that answer your question, Vanessa? Vanessa's speechless.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they're doing it, and I will be returning to the LA area, and I will be getting in contact with you about maybe getting some area frats and sororities who have people who are majoring in the sciences to maybe do some tutoring.
Okay, I would love to hear it. Let's talk.
Look at that. Vanessa called to ask to help.
I love
Not
it.
for help, but although you're always welcome to do both. Vanessa, I appreciate the call.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, I think that's awesome. Part of it is having people from the community interact. And the Freedom School is a model that's done in various states. I'm sure there's one in more than one in Kansas.
Absolutely. It's all over the country. And what I love about it is the Children's Defense Fund trains everyone together from across the country at the Highland Center, where the rights movement started and where so many of our freedom struggles started. And then they disperse them across the country. And so please plug in wherever you are in the country. Look at see if they have a freedom school. If they don't have one, at Children's Defense Fund, how you can get it in your area.
Yeah, great idea. We're going to Paul calling us from LA. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Dominique.
Welcome.
I wanted to hop in on the conversation that you guys were having. Just when you were speaking in regards to like waking up for people and what's happening. I don't know if you've discussed the situation with Musk and what's going on in Memphis with basically polluting in a predominant black community, which basically the residents are having no say so that they don't want overall, which in reality shows the real reason that he did the whole Doge thing was just to make cuts to basically protections that were there and regulations that were there to prevent something like this happening. And we're watching in real time, much in the same way like Altadena, that they come into predominant black communities, hit us with health disparities, and basically gentrify us in the end. And I just hate seeing this repeatedly.
So for people who aren't following the story, Elon Musk has built a super data processing center right next to a predominantly black neighborhood in Memphis, and it's defying all the regulations about how much pollution they're allowed to spew, how many processors and how much tonnage of I guess there are these different processors that use gas and electricity and spew pollutants into the air. And there's a limit. I think it's 1 or 2 you're allowed to have, and I understand they have 5 or 6. The NAACP is demanding they shut this data processing center down. Local residents are protesting, but who do you turn to? The Environmental Protection Agency has been defanged. The feds, the Department of Justice is in the pocket of Elon Musk. And so that's the story that Paul is describing. And we have talked about it some, but I know, Pastor Anderson, for one, is a big environmentalist. And now, even with Musk moving out of Doge and fighting with the Trump administration, to your point, Paul, he's already shut down most of the agencies that were suing him, regulating him. He's gotten rid of millions of dollars in fines against himself personally. And where is the accountability? I believe it's with the people. If the people continue to protest and that continues to grow, I think will prevail. But, you don't know in this time.
Yeah, I haven't been tracking, so thank you. You're enlightening me. I'm learning in real time what's going on in this community, but it seems one of those kind of like Death Valley, Cancer Alley kind of situations that is brewing. And you're right that the main bulwark against that kind of stuff is the DOJ and the EPA. But when you cut the regulations, it exacerbates disparity in those areas, and then creates very disparate health comes. And so I think, that's the point. Elon Musk is trying to make America's apartheid again. And so the way you do that is to, you don't have to close an entire agency. You just have to defund the regulations of it, right? And so I think that's what he's been doing. He did that as well. And then there's also, because there's no auditors. He got rid of all the auditors as well, and all of the folks. So yeah, we got to continue that in prayer. And I'm with you folks in Memphis as you're fighting that fight. And I think NAACP is a good place. I know there's a magazine that's covering some of that work. A black magazine, look at The Margin, and I would reach out to them as well to see if they can cover your story.
That's crazy, because Google is now talking about making a huge data center in Memphis also. A $10 billion, 580-acre data center campus in West Memphis.
We've seen the story before.
We've
seen this story before, and for those that don't know, even in San Francisco, the current mayor that got in is opening basically to the Silicon Valley and tech bros to open and bring those things here. There's always a common denominator, basically, that we're always going to be dealing with. These aren't good people. They will always basically use communities that we are predominantly in, and then to gentrify us at the end of the day. Those pollutants are known to have a direct impact on our people's health. And I just think this is awful. And those that don't speak out against this, that we can't call them allies. It is what it is. They're not our allies.
Yeah, I think that's right. And one of the challenges with AI, and I'm not anti-AI, I've started using it for a couple things, but it's very greedy. It guzzles power, right? It's greedy in its power footprint. Now, apparently China has developed new AI models that are less power greedy, but this is what it was, the methane gas turbines with no air permits to power this supercomputer. And they're way over the limit of what they're meant to have. So the NAACP is calling on them to shut this down. So if you want to support, I think the thing to do would be to support the NAACP there in Memphis. Yes. And and thank you for this conversation. And just in reality for everybody, that it's sometimes it's not what they're doing in the open, it's what they're doing behind the scenes. Basically, Peter Thiel was just given by this administration a $50 million contract. Well, how did that transpire? Basically, when that man had Doge and they were going into everybody's data, they compromised everyone's data. These phones, these smartphones, this technology that everybody's jumping into, you're basically selling you. These apps that you're on and everything, you're selling you. It's not free. So I'll just leave it there, Dominique. Thank you, it's absolutely true. I say it like this. If big tech are vampires, your data is the blood. So everything you give them, every picture, every purchase, is the blood.
It's sinners all over again.
It's sinners all over again. Pastor Rev.Anderson is my guest. Paul called 800-920-1580, and I welcome you to do the same. Few things I did want to unpack with you, though. We'll get to those when we come forward. Man, there's so much going on. Well, we're not giving in to the flood the zone vibes.
No.
Not doing it.
No.
Whew, glad you're here, Pastor. KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Every mother deserves a healthy and joyous pregnancy and birth, and every baby deserves to thrive. That's why the Los Angeles County Abundant Birth Project is here. The Abundant Birth Project is a guaranteed income program that provides cash during pregnancy to pregnant individuals at the highest risk of preterm and low birth rate babies. Although program enrollment has closed, our commitment to Black joy and thriving continues. Through tailored services that foster mental well-being and community-based resources, we provide care and support during pregnancy and after the baby is born to help build brighter futures for our families. Join us in celebrating abundant births in LA County. For more information, please visit abundantbirthproject.org. abundantbirthproject.org.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilman Curran Price, inviting you to join us on Saturday, June the 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. as we cut the ribbon on the brand new Enel Woods Park at 8703 South McKinley Avenue. Thanks to a generous donation from Heal the Bay, the park features smart irrigation, stormwater capture systems, and space for local wildlife to thrive. And we've built a walking trail, picnic areas, native landscaping, and quiet spaces for families to gather, relax, and connect. This is part of a much larger effort to expand green spaces across South LA with 3 new parks in the works, a first-of-its-kind community center coming soon, and plans to connect it all through the South LA Greenway. So mark your calendar for Saturday, June 14th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and come celebrate a greener, stronger South LA at Enel Woods Park. I'm also pleased to sponsor the Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium, moderated by Tavis Smiley, live on C-SPAN, Wednesday, June the 18th, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Just a reminder to sign up right away at the KBLA1580.com website to join me, Mayor Karen Bass, Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager Dove, Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson, Dr. Cornel West, former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr., the Sierra Club's Ben Jealous, and other black influencers in the climate and health fields as we continue to amplify the connection between climate and poor health outcomes for our people. Thank you for listening. I'm Councilman Curran Price.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, I'm going to try to squeeze all these things in because we only have Pastor Edward-Anderson for another few minutes here. But you're speaking on Friday, I understand.
I am speaking on Friday, and I invite all of you to come out. So during the State of the Union, a bunch of black folks, Joy Reid, Angela Rye, Roland Martin, got together and created State of the People. State of the People, and they've been doing a 10-city tour, and the last stop is L.A. And so it's Friday. I'm trying to pull it up to figure out where it's at. It's at the Seed LA. Seed LA, and right over here in South Central. It starts at 3, but the rally starts from 7 to 9. And we are the city of resistance. We're the city of art. We're the city of culture. So there'll be performances. There'll be elected officials from the state all the way down to our local elected officials speaking. And then there'll be pastors and revolutionaries like myself speaking. And I think even our friend Dr. Molina will be there as well, and Isaac Bryan and others. And so come out. Is this Friday, and then on Saturday I think there's some in Altadena, but Friday the Seed Academy from 6 to 9 or 7 to 9 is the rally. Go to the stateofthepeople.org to register, and then people is PPL, state of the PPL people.org.
Stateofthepeople.org. Good stuff. And Pastor Edward-Anderson is going to be speaking, so that's the main highlight you don't want to miss.
Yeah, come by.
We were talking off the air about this Measure G aftermath, something that I voted against, urged our listeners to vote against. The delegation probably did, because most of us are from the progressive core of California. But that's in motion now.
It's in motion.
We lost.
So listen, Measure G passed, and people will go, are asleep. So let me just wake everyone up. This is your alarm clock to let you know that the Constitution of LA County, that is 10 million people, that is a $50 billion budget, that is 88 cities. So if you live in Duarte, if you live in Downey, if you live in Long Beach, LA, if you live in Cudahy, you are a part of LA County. Lancaster, it's all LA County. And Measure G is a rewriting of that Constitution. And people say, oh, I thought it was a reform effort. Yeah, it's reform and rewriting, because it does a couple of things. Yes, you get an ethics commission. We're all down for that. But then you get an elected county CEO. And I just want you to think about that. And people don't know what the CEO does. it's a $50 billion budget, and you have someone, the LA Times had an article that said LA gets a new mayor, I think they are underselling it. It means LA gets a governor. That Southern California gets a governor, and that person has no term limits. That person will have control over the 7th largest economy in the world. That person
in the world, one person who could actually override the board of supervisors.
Right, because the board of supervisors is moving from 5 to 9, and that could be good. Maybe it just depends on how the census data shakes out. And just remind you, the Trump administration is trying to make sure they put some guardrails around who gets to be counted in the census. What does that mean, though, for you? That means your health department. That means your trash pickup. That means your Medicare, your Medi-Cal. That means the youth programs in your communities. That means the prisons in your neighborhood and local area. That means the sheriff's department. All of those things get affected by what is written now. And so I'm pleading, if you are in Los Angeles County, if you are one of the 10 billion to make your voices heard, there are 13 people on this commission. And I think there may be maybe 1 or 2 black people. I know there's 1. There may be 2 black people on this entire commission. And so go to the Measure G website, go to the County of Los Angeles website, figure out when the hearings are, and let them know how you want the future of LA to look. It's only happened once in 100 years. So it's for you, your grandchildren, and start acting like somebody's ancestor today.
I mean, this is it could be a serious problem. I've heard already that, for example, Sheriff Alex Villanueva is planning to run for that county CEO. So we get a mini MAGA dude like that, and we know that California is a bipolar state with pockets of blue and seas of red. Mm-hmm. And the pockets of blue tend to be the highly populated city and coastal areas. When you talk about a county CEO that can override the elected supervisors, we could have like a MAGA emperor of LA County. I mean, that's really what we're looking at.
Yeah, we're looking for
Thank you, Lindsay Horvath. She's the one that pushed this doggone mess through with very vague description of what it was against the wishes of Supervisor Holly Mitchell and others.
Mm-hmm. And the biggest contention was we don't need an elected CEO. I'll say this: I'm a pastor, so you don't mind if I talk about the Bible, do you?
Not at all. That's what you
do. In the Bible, I tell people, be very careful of what you wish for. In the Bible, before there was a king of Israel, there were judges. And that's what we're in right now in LA County. We're in a place where there were judges. We had 5. Maybe you expand that. That's fine. But can I just remind people that before you got to King David and all of the Psalms and all of those things, there was a king by the name of Saul who started off nice and became tyrannical and lost his mind. Right? That's where we are spiritually. Look at where we are and realize that what we are asking for is to be subjects of the state in a different way under a county CEO. That we cannot determine, and if we had a good county CEO, that's all great. But what if we get a bad? What if we get someone who is power hungry? What if we get someone who demands patronage? What if we get someone who is not actually about justice, equity, and fairness, but is actually about their own agenda? And we say, oh, we know better than that. Well, let me just remind you, as Dominique just said, in LA County, the last major election we had, if we look at the map, the blue areas was LA City and Long Beach. The rest of the map was red. Yes, Los Angeles, we got a lot of conservative mods, MAGAcrats, who live in our county. And we just be very clear about that.
Yeah, term limits is the first thing. They've got to fix that. You can't have a county CEO over $50 billion who just is there forever.
Yeah.
That's not democratic.
That's the way the Constitution is written, that county, so most folks weren't paying attention, but for a county-wide election, there are no term limits. The sheriff does not have a term limit. The DA does not have a term limit. So a county CEO that's elected at the countywide office won't have a term limit unless you change our Constitution and get a state ratification for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could use a term limit for sheriffs too.
Yeah,
actually, to be honest,
I think that'd be great.
I think Sheriff Lee Baca was sheriff for like 100 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Just a couple minutes here. I still have a million questions, but we're gonna have to do them another day. You know, I know that you have a lot of things going on in your ministry, so let's talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very excited about is the ministry. I invite y'all to come, be a part of the programs that we're doing. Come, get a good word on Sunday. We got good old school singing and some new good singing as well.
10:45.
10:45. 10:45, McCarty Moore Christian
So
Church.
specific. Not 10:30, not 11, 10:45.
When I got there, the elder said, we start at 10:45. And I said, that sounds like something you don't want to change. So we're going to keep that. 10:45. 10:45, out by noon. But I'm really just excited about how we are partnering with community members through our CDC Partnership for Growth LA to really like focus in. And so I'm excited about Leimert Park. And I just want to just take a moment of pride and of joy to talk about. Can I talk about the Black Bookstore in Leimert Park?
Yes.
Okay.
I went to the opening of that.
Please come to Lore Leimert. We all love Esalen. And Esalen decided to transition during the pandemic. But guess what? We talked to James from Esalen. We talked to Dario, who was in Echo Park, and we came together and we created Lore Leimert Park Bookstore. It is a Black-owned, Black-operated bookstore that is focused on design, literacy, and empowerment. It is a community space. We had a small hand in that, but more importantly, the community, you have the bigger hand because you can show up, you can use your dollars, you can use the space, and you can bask in the revitalization of our community. That we do this block by block. We can buy back the block, and this is an example of what that looks like.
And that's happening in Leimert. It's so great. Pastor Edward Anderson, thanks for leaving us on a positive note, and it's always great to see you.
Always great to see you, and happy birthday to you, another solar return.
Thank you, Pastor Anderson. All right, it's time for Wealth Building Wednesday, and time for you to call all the good things after news, traffic, and sports, only right here.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Mayor Monroe Nichols wants a private trust to fund housing and scholarships, no direct cash.